The idea for this video came from an awesome subscriber by the name of Just Mike. If you think you've got an idea for a video you'd like me to do, leave it right down here in the comments below. Now, roll the intro. Several years ago, I was traveling from parts unknown here in the Midwest out to Salt Lake City, Utah, and all I was traveling with was my trusty Kelty backpack. I refused to check baggage on an airplane. That's a video for another time. So my little backpack here was my sole carry-on item of luggage. Had all my clothes in it, everything I needed for the trip. In the very bottom of this bag was this Swiss Army knife right here. You'll see this Swiss Army knife featured in a couple other videos that I've done. As I departed from the airport that will remain nameless, this knife was not discovered by the TSA agent. It was simply in the bottom of this bag, not concealed by anything, possibly covered up by a couple items of clothing, and I had completely forgotten that this knife was even in the bag to begin with. I made my way out to Salt Lake City without incident, no problems whatsoever, and had a really great trip, which, again, I might detail on a video at another time. The important part of this story is when I tried to return from Salt Lake City back to parts unknown here in the Midwest. Again, this little Swiss Army knife was still in the bottom of this bag, and I still had no idea it was even in there. I hadn't used it during the trip and had never scavenged to the bottom of the bag for any reason that I would have discovered it in the first place. So as I was going through the TSA checkpoint in Salt Lake City, the diligent TSA agent at that location did in fact discover that this Swiss Army knife was in the bottom of this backpack. Obviously, he made me remove it and turn it over to him. And then I was presented with a couple options. The first option, which most everyone is familiar with, is to simply throw the item away. That, however, was never really an option for me. This particular Swiss Army knife has a lot of sentimental value. It was given to me when I was 11 or 12 years old by my father. He passed away in 2006. There was no way I was going to throw away this Swiss Army knife. An alternative option, which I don't ever hear anybody talk about, is that you can simply ship your item. To his credit, the TSA agent is the one who pointed this out to me. He advised that if I could find the packaging and I could find the postage, I could leave the knife with him, get that packaging, get that postage, return, package up the knife, turn it back over to him, and that he would mail the item to my home. I was fortunate in this incident for a couple of different reasons. Number one, I was not in a hurry to make a flight. Number two, it was about 8:45 in the morning, and there was a small gift shop that opened at 9 o'clock, and they were the only gift shop in that particular part of the airport that sold both packaging and postage, and they were right there at the exit of the TSA check-in. I turned the knife over to the TSA agent, waited about 15 minutes, went into the store, bought a small padded envelope, the appropriate amount of postage, went ahead and went back to the TSA agent. When he wasn't busy, he stepped to the side, produced the knife, I packaged it up in the padded envelope. He provided me packing tape, was able to seal it up. I turned it back over to him, and he advised that he would mail it to my home. Now, admittedly, I was somewhat skeptical about this process. Here I was, trusting a total stranger to actually carry through with something that he advised that he would do for me. Well, I took a risk. I took a risk with an item that I kind of feel like is an heirloom. But as you can see, here it is. The knife, as promised, was shipped to my home. It arrived a mere 5 days later. The internet is full of negative stories about the TSA, and I'm sure some of them are deserved. However, in my particular incident, the TSA agent that I encountered was extremely professional, extremely polite, and quite honestly, helped me preserve an item that I'd had my entire life. Instead of just throwing it away, provided me with an alternative option, allowing me to keep this in my family. Now, is this a massive heirloom worth millions of dollars? No, it's a simple Swiss Army knife. However, I do believe it's important to point out the kindness of strangers. Too many people will take to the internet just to complain about something. Very few people take to the internet to actually compliment somebody. So, this is my simple video saying thank you to the TSA agent in Salt Lake City, Utah, all those years ago who helped me get my trusty Swiss Army knife back home. If you enjoyed this video or found any value in it, maybe you agreed with it, maybe you disagreed with it, I'd really appreciate you leaving me a comment somewhere down below. Maybe you check out some of my other videos on my channel. Maybe you give me a thumbs up like, or maybe a thumbs down this because you simply don't like the TSA. Thanks for watching, and maybe, just maybe, I'll see you on the next video. If you enjoy videos about the randomness of our amazing world, consider clicking on the globe to subscribe, or maybe checking out one of the other videos right here.